Dishonored, one of the most beloved and probably one of the very underrated series in the recent years. And in this video and in the next few videos, we're going to be discussing the old games in the Dishonored franchise. And today we're gonna start with the original Dishonored game. And we will be deciding whether it is worth it to buy or not right now, more than a decade after its release. So, without further ado, let's just get it started. And as always, as with every single one of our videos, I'm going to be giving you the answer right away. And the answer is yes, Dishonored is absolutely worth it to buy right now. Despite its age, the game plays amazingly and is one of the most fastest and the most fun stealth games ever. Yes, it had its balance issues that, well, wasn't ultimately resolved in a sequel. It's still quite a fun game to start with, at least in the Dishonored franchise. But let's discuss details. So Dishonored is the game by Arcane Studios that came out in 2012 and was ultimately praised by everyone. But what it is and how it plays. In essence, it's a first-person action stealth game. You're playing as Corvo Atano, and you are a bodyguard to an Empress of Dunwall. And well, kinda like a minor spoiler thing, game actually begins when the Empress is murdered and her daughter is kidnapped and you are ultimately framed for it. You're thrown into a prison and after 6 months you are escaping. And now with the help of the Crown Loyalists, you need to take down the usurper of the throne. That's the basic premise of the game. And by taking down Usurper, you're basically killing all the guys that you think that are involved in the killing of Empress to replace Usurper with someone else. That's the basic premise of the story. To be fair, I won't lie to you, story is nothing amazing that will blow your mind, but it's pretty good and pretty interesting, especially with an amazing steampunk world building around it. It has amazing 19th century vibes and it feels pretty good. But just don't expect to be blown away by this game, at least story-wise. But where the game shines is in its gameplay, and that's probably what you are most interested in. So gameplay-wise, let's discuss what you can do as a character first. At first, at least at the very beginning of the game, you're limited in your abilities. In the beginning, you have your sword and you have a ranged weapon. And usually this ranged weapon is either a pistol or a crossbow. And you can use this for, well, basically a combat. To shoot people from a distance or to, well, kill them from the close distance. But in the beginning of the game, you're also visited by so-called Outsider. This mystic entity that gives you some powers. And these powers were also used to kill an Empress as well, so you will be using those powers as well. And these powers are kind of like magical abilities. Probably the most useful one will be the teleporting, which allows you to teleport on some medium distances. You also have an ability to hear people and see people behind the walls and see where they're looking. You can also slow down time, use some kind of force push thing, and you can also possess different creatures to control them. But you're unlocking the abilities as you go through the game. And to be fair, those abilities are very, very fun to use. It gives you an ability to traverse the levels and also take down enemies in very gory and sometimes very majestic ways. But before we're gonna discuss how these abilities are used, let's discuss how the game world is actually built. Because at first you might think that this is an open world game. Technically, it's not. It's an open level based game, meaning that each mission will take you to certain levels, which can be divided into different sub-levels divided with a loading screen. And those levels are basically open, and you can go and do and approach your target in whatever way you want. A game also gives you few suggestions to use different ways of entry towards your targets, and also gives you different people who can help you to get to your target. But ultimately, the choice is absolutely yours how you will approach the target. And ultimately, you are down to only 2 choices of how you will actually do the missions. And it is either by high chaos or by low chaos. Let me explain what does it mean. High chaos is when you are basically killing everyone. That's what high chaos means. If you're gonna kill everyone either stealthily or in open combat, that's what high chaos means. The low chaos is when you are either not engaging in combat at all or you are non-lethally taking down your enemies. Maybe except for the main assassination targets, of course. And depending on how you are approaching the game, either through high chaos or low chaos, the game worlds itself in the later levels will change, and you'll also get different endings depending on that. But that's when game actually falters for me a bit, because playing high chaos is exponentially more fun than playing low chaos. Yes, some things will be actually fixed in Dishonored 2, but in this game, playing low chaos is not as fun, because you can kill enemies in so many multiple different ways, but you can take down enemies in only maybe few different ways, like flipping darts and just incapacitating with one single animation. That's basically it. And if you're playing High Chaos, it affects the world because world is ridden by the plague, and the plague is multiplied by rats who are eating the corpses of the deceased. And well, guess what? When you're killing multiple enemies, the number of corpses in the world is increasing, therefore increasing the number of rats, and therefore the rats killing more people because, yep, these rats are eating people alive, whether they're enemies or just random people, therefore multiplying even more and just making the world a miserable place to live in. But no matter how you play, the amount of freedom of approaching different targets and the amount of freedom of movement and the speed of everything is simply insane. And yeah, not a lot of games are actually replicating this type of speed in games. Probably the only two games that are coming into my mind are Titanfall series and Apex Legends, which is basically the same kind of mechanics. This is the only games that are giving you that fast feeling. And Dishonored is another one. The fast movements and ability to approach different targets in completely different ways in each and every playthrough is simply amazing thing, and it's amazing that we had a game like that for more than a decade now. Granted, the game is not very long. It takes around 10 to 12 hours to complete, but the ability to replay the game and just approach targets in a different way, that's where the game actually shines. Because yeah, no two playthroughs will be the same. At least none of your two playthroughs will be the same. And the feat of acrobatic takedowns that you will be able to accomplish when you get to understand the abilities in the game is simply insane. And you probably have seen the amazing clips that people are performing in the Dishonored. And yeah, you can do that too, and it's not as difficult as you might think. Okay, I was not able to find all the prices on SteamDB for this game, but I know that it will cost you around $10 to $20 depending on where you live, and it can go as low as $2 to $5 depending on the region during the deepest sales. The game is also available on the Game Pass alongside all the other Dishonored games, and you could actually grab this game for free on Epic, I think a few weeks or a few months back. So, is this game worth it? Well, if you have a Game Pass, 100% go and play this right now. Start with the first game and then we're gonna move on to the other games. But now start with the Dishonored 1. If you don't have it and if you're seeing this on the game on a sale, just wanna try, yeah, why not? $5 or $10, this game is 100% worth it. It will take you around 10 to 12 hours to complete the game, but if you're gonna go and do everything and you're gonna try to do the multiple playthroughs, then yeah, multiply this number by factor of 2, 3, or 4. I don't know, maybe you're gonna play this for 50 or 60 or maybe 100 hours. So yeah, you're gonna have a lot of fun and a lot of playtime from this game. This game is one of the most enjoyable experiences that I have had in the past decade, and yep, you can have this too. So yep, go and grab this game. Well, this should be it for today. Thanks for being here with me. Like the video if you like it, subscribe for more videos like this one, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. See ya.